All right. It is my 27th birthday. I'm recording this on the 22nd, so Sunday. God knows when this is going to get released. But I am going to talk through quite a lot of lessons that I've learned over the years of being in property. I've been in property since around 2021. That's when I done my first flip. 2022, that's when I finished the flip. And then 2023, laid the foundations of my business. And 2024 is when the business went from zero to over £2.5 million in property pipeline. I've learned a lot. I've had to quit my job and then go back to my job, and I've lost all my money. I've started making money, had to obviously move hundreds of miles and basically start from scratch and just build a client base from nothing. So I'm going to talk through a lot of the lessons that I've learned in the hopes that it helps you. If you turn up to a viewing and harshly criticise the way it looks in front of the owner, you're a piece of shit. You don't know how much that can affect someone, and you certainly don't know anything about them. Just go to the viewing, take your notes and measurements, and then leave. Bonus tip: have a friendly conversation with the owner and be polite about the property. It's an obvious one, but you wouldn't believe how many people trash on a property when they're viewing it with the owner, right? Oh, look at that mould. Oh, look at that fucking skirting board. Oh, it looks shit. Don't do that. And here's a good story to illustrate it, right? So I have a friend, Jen, she's an investor, and she's a phenomenal fucking investor. And she went to a viewing, and she basically complimented it, had a cup of tea with him, really enjoyed it, right? And it was the seller that was showing them around, not the agent. And basically she built that rapport, complimented it. Oh, I love this. This is beautiful. How did you manage to do that? When did you do this? Just honest, appreciation for the house. And then this other guy comes in, this snobby fucking investor, the ones. And he came in and he started saying the usual things, peeling back and oh, I don't know about that. And just looking up the wall, oh, I don't know about that. Just basically being openly fucking disrespectful to the seller in front of their face, embarrassing them in front of the other people that were selling. Now, it sounds obvious, to not do that. But here's why. When my friend put an offer in, it was a bit less than what the offer was of that guy that was just shitting all over the place, right? Now, the seller went with my friend. Think about that. It was a less offer. But some people, when they sell their house, they're emotionally attached to it. You wouldn't believe how emotionally attached people are to their properties. They love it. They could have been in it for decades. Their parents could have owned it. They could have grew up in it. So it means a lot to them. And when you have a buyer that actually appreciates the property, cares about it, and shows that they like it, and will do the nice things that they want to it, it goes a long way. And people, if you offer less, some people will go with you if you mean it. Don't be a fake piece of shit and just go, oh yeah, that's nice. You know what I mean? Actually mean it. Be a good person. Don't be that guy that's snobby, because even though he offered higher, he didn't get the property. And he probably done it to about 10 other people that week, right? So be the person that appreciates a seller's house in front of them. Right, here's one that I really like, right? Don't ever put someone down for having a 9-to-5 job, because without these people doing these jobs, you won't be able to live the life that you have. I can guarantee their jobs are far more important than the course that you sell. Now, I'm not saying that you sell a course, but the point is, stop putting people down for having a 9-to-5 job. And if you don't do it, fucking brilliant. I really appreciate that. Because without these people, say, running the petrol stations, running the supermarkets, running fucking hospitals, you wouldn't be able to just carry about your day. I've seen so many people on social media just fucking putting these people down. Oh, why would I have a 9-to-5 job? Why would I feel shit? If they like their job, fucking let them do it. Without them, you wouldn't have what you have. Okay, if someone hates their job and you say to them, you should quit your 9-to-5 and start a business, that is totally fair enough. If they hate their job and it's crushing them every single day, then yes, quit your 9-to-5 and do what you can and do what you love. Okay, I totally support that. But if someone actually enjoys their job and it's providing food for their family, a shelter for their family, and they're providing a service working at a petrol station, without them, you wouldn't fucking be able to drive. You'd be able to drive your fucking Ferrari, right? So if they're doing that, don't put them down. And if you see someone put them down, tell them to go fuck themselves, man. Because I'm seeing it all the time on social media. People my age or a few years younger, oh, fuck people have a 9-to-5 job. You know what I mean? It's a load of shit. People are trying to provide for their family in a brutal fucking economy. Just let them do it and appreciate the fact that they're doing it, because there's far worse people out there who are multi-millionaires who are treating people like shit. So just remember this. Treat the doorman as you would the CEO. That's something my dad always taught me. Chances are you became an entrepreneur to have more time with your family. Don't forget that. I've seen too many people forget why they started their journeys and let it completely consume them, me included. So this was quite an important one that I really want to hit home with you guys, okay? So for a long time, I'd say earlier this year, last year, I was just lost in my work, like completely lost in my work. And sometimes I do still get lost in my work, but I mean like for weeks, just get lost in my work, and I would barely text family, and I would barely like spend time like with Lauren and stuff, and it would suck, So we started this. Chances are you started this to spend more time with them. And being an entrepreneur, yeah, your 9 to 5 turns into a 5 till 9. Like, it becomes a longer fucking day. There's no denying that. It doesn't mean what you're doing is wrong. But making time for your family is so fucking important that I can't even convey it. Because when it comes down to it, sometimes they're all what you've got, right? When shit hits the fan, you've ran out of money, the business has failed, fucking portfolio is all gone. It's all gone wrong. They're who you've got. And I think, I wish I had better words to say for this point, but just make time for your family. And if you're watching this and you haven't texted them in a while, and if you're watching this, you haven't called them in a while, just fucking pause this video and do it. Just do it, man. I think that's something I want to hit home a lot in my videos, because you just don't know how long they're going to be around for. You just don't know. And I think that's one, it's easy to forget. You get caught up in the business. You get caught up in the money. You get caught up in your next property, your next deal, your next client, and paid ads, and all these, your next video. You just get caught up in all that shit. Like I'm here on my birthday. This is this is my birthday. And my family, they're all away. I've been calling them throughout the day and FaceTiming them and stuff, but I'd do anything to be with them, man. I'd do anything to be with them. So just don't take that shit for granted, and make sure that you do put aside time for them. Last year, my deal packaging strategy was buy-to-lets, flips, and buy, refurbish, refinance. It failed. However, as a person, I developed many skills such as negotiating, time management, sales, marketing, finding deals, networking, finding clients, and so on. I may have failed at one thing, but I succeeded at so many others that got me where I am today. It's all about perspective. So I did pivot. Didn't quit, but I did pivot away from buy-to-lets, flips, and buy, refurbish, refinance. Now, a lot of the time, I did see it as a failure. Cards on the table. I thought I was a fucking failure. I came down all this way, tried something, and it didn't work. I did think I was a failure, but it took a lot of practice. This is like a skill you need to harness in finding the good within the bad. So when I did decide to go over to HMO conversions and package them for clients, I was able to transfer so many skills, because before I started, I was a lifeguard and a swim teacher. Barely any transferable skills other than communication. So I had all these other transferable skills that I could transfer into HMO conversions. And now it's exploded towards the end of this year. So I'm not saying that having all these skills makes you instantly successful when you try something new, but you must be able to identify what went well, what skills did I learn, what experience did I have, what stories do I have, because I use these stories in these videos to try and help people who are in that situation. So those stories at the time, they fucking suck, but right now I'm able to help others that are in this situation. So I've transferred all of these skills. I've managed to grow the business with my business partner, and it's better than ever. It's fucking incredible, and I'm so grateful that I'd done all of that. It wasn't a failure. I learned so much that a course could never have taught me, transferred it over to this, and it's worked out better than it has ever before. Don't compare your first year of work to someone else's 10th year. In property investment, you're going to be surrounded by fucking successful people. Really successful people. People that have like portfolios of over 100 properties. They've packaged about 200-300 deals. They're worth millions. They've got millions in the pipeline. You are going to be surrounded by them when you start because they go to networking events and stuff. And you're going to speak to them. And you're going to think to yourself, this is what I thought to myself, fuck, I'm about to go home to my studio and eat an 85p ready meal and go to work as a lifeguard. And you do compare yourself to people. It's natural to do that. But comparison is the thief of joy. It just is. If you compare yourself to someone else throughout your progress, you're going to lose. Because there's always going to be someone more successful than you. Elon Musk, when he was the richest person in the world, divorced. You know what I mean? Like divorced, and he's got kids that won't talk to him. So I wonder if he was looking at families and thinking to himself, oh, fuck man, I wish I had that. Not much I can do with this money, you know? Like, I can't buy them back. I'm not saying that's true, but what I'm saying is like the grass isn't always greener. You cannot always, you will lose that game of comparing yourself to other people. So instead of comparing yourself to them, how about asking them out for a coffee? Just saying, hey, like I've seen your success, like I'm really inspired by it. There's so much I would love to ask you. Would you mind just going for a coffee? It's on me and I'll just ask a few questions. It would go a long way for me, especially in this stage of my journey. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get 100% yes rate out of that. People might say no. But there are going to be a few people that will say yes because they were you once. They were you once and they'll meet you for a coffee and they'll help you because 20 years ago they were starting out. They were in a studio. They were living on budget meals and stuff, you know, doing what they could to get off the ground. And someone would have helped them. And now it's their turn. You know, it's like a cycle. A beautiful cycle, right? So ask these people. Don't get jealous of them. Don't get angry at them. Don't get angry at yourself. Ask these people, how did they get to where they are? And take little bits from each one of them and apply it to your journey. Turn this negative feeling into a positive action. You can still watch Netflix, buy clothes, go out for meals, not have a morning routine, go on holidays, drink on weekends, and still be successful. Just as long as you're doing the work that's required. Right, I always watch Netflix, and I certainly don't have a morning routine. And I never shout affirmations in the mirror, I don't write them down and stuff. I'm not saying they do not work, okay? If they help you do the work that's required, then by all means do it, okay? But if you're doing all of those things, like you're doing all your meditations and you're doing your affirmations and you're spending hours and hours doing them, but you're not doing the work, you're doing that instead of the work because you think that's work, then what are you fucking doing? Like, that is not it. Like, if you spend, say, 2 hours doing that shit and it doesn't get you in the mood to do the rest and you don't do the high quality work straight after it, then it's a waste of 2 hours, okay? It's just a complete waste. So I'm not saying don't do it, but you certainly don't have to do it. Like, I don't do all that shit. And I'm not against it, but I certainly don't fucking do it because if I spend 2 hours doing that stuff or an hour doing that stuff, I'd rather spend that 1 or 2 hours working because that's where I get my joy. So for example, like most mornings, I would prefer to start with video editing. So like I edit these videos that you're seeing right now, or I'll edit reels because that's something I really enjoy. It's not the hardest task, but it's something I really enjoy. It's my passion. Now, that gets the momentum rolling. So say I do about an hour, hour and a half of editing, then I'm now getting onto the next thing, onto the next thing, onto the next thing, right? So, I mean, my advice to you is, I guess, do the thing that you enjoy the most in the morning. Get that ball rolling. That makes you want to start work. And then by the time you've done the best task, you can then move straight on to the fucking worst task, right? Just move straight on to the worst one. Eat the frog, okay? So like, that's what I do. To get the ball rolling, I do my favorite task, and that's video editing. Nothing to do with property. But that gets me in the mood to call the agents, call the builders, call the architects, you know, send all the shitey emails. It gets me in the mood to do all of that. One of the main reasons I became an entrepreneur was to keep my mind busy and constantly be in pursuit of a goal. Achieving a goal is great, but it wears off after a day or two, if that. Business is for life, and constantly setting higher goals gives me meaning. And if I don't have that, my mind stays busy and it spirals downward. If your goal is to be, quote, happy, find something that gives you meaning/purpose for a lifetime. So there's kind of 2 points in that one. So the first one is businesses for life and constantly setting goals gives me higher meaning. And that means that setting one goal and achieving it isn't enough for me. Like if I just say, for example, I done my flip, right? And that was like a long project and it lasted about a year. And when I finished that, I broke down. Like I was happy that it went well, but a normal person would be happy and like stay happy. But I had nothing else like left to do. Like there was nothing, my days weren't full anymore. I had no like purpose, right? So starting a business fulfilled that. Basically, it means business is for life. It's like marriage. It never ends, right? The objective of it is to just play it like every single day. And because of that, that means that I always have goals to hit and it'll never run out. Like there will always be another target to hit. And yes, I get like happy that I hit them along the way, but having that continuous like goals to set and goals to reach that get higher and higher and higher. For me anyway, like that is so much better than just having one goal, hitting it and then never doing something again. And the second point of that was, if your goal is to be happy, find something that gives you meaning or purpose for a lifetime. Now, obviously you've got family, you've got relationships, and they give you purpose and they give you meaning, and they're more important than any business you'll ever start, period. But you want to separate yourself from that. You want to have something that's like your own identity, right? So having this business and having something that, if without me, it wouldn't be able to function. Like I provide a lot of value, so does my business partner. Like without one of us, for long enough, it won't function. We can cover each other, but it won't function after a while. So having that value, providing that value and feeling like a necessity is just insane. Like, because I've been an employee my whole life. Like I've been an employee, and much like you watching, like you'll be employees or you will have been an employee, and you know fine well that if something were to happen to you, you'd be replaced like that. Your job would be on LinkedIn, it'd be on Indeed, it'd be on all these channels, right? It'd be on the websites, and that would be you replaced. Like you are just a number, and you can't blame them. Like they have to replace you, they have to fill that slot. But feeling irreplaceable, feeling valuable is just, that gives me so much meaning. It makes me feel like important. And I know there's more to life than feeling like quote important, but feeling valuable and providing value in that way, it does go a long way for me.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. You look like a monkey and you should be in the zoo.
Brilliant.
Happy birthday, sweet pea.
Oh, I love that.